It's been 3 years since the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series visited Winton, and a lot has changed as the teams assemble at Winton Motor Raceway this weekend. I'm Aaron Noonan, joined in commentary by Toll HSV V8 star Garth Tander for the third round of the 2007 Championship. Garth, this is a tight track with the two Ps. Patience and power down are the critical factors for success.
And you can add into that as well, technical. One of the more technical tracks that the guys will go to this year. Incredibly tight, limited passing opportunities, and very, very difficult offline. 12
turns in total, 3 kilometre lap distance, very few passing opportunities as you mentioned. Which one are the key ones?
Well, the key ones are turn 1, turn 3 and maybe turn 11, and if you're game you can try and send it up inside into turn 7 at the hairpin there, but that's pretty risky.
Very critical to make a clean pass too.
Very critical. It's very, very tight around here.
There's plenty of drivers pleased to be back at Winton this weekend. There's one who's just keen to be back in a Fujitsu V8 Supercar. The Kiwi, Chris Pither, is in the pits and Bryony Ingerson caught up with him.
Chris, welcome back to the series. How did you find your way back here?
Thanks, yeah. V8 Supercars is where I want to be. We were in the series last year, but couldn't put a deal together at the start of the year, which is a bit disappointing. We ended up running a ute. But I had a lot of fun driving a ute, and the opportunities came up through the sport with Kanga Loaders and the team run by Racer Industries. So it's great to be here at Winton this weekend. It's the first time at this track for me, and I'm just trying to come to grips again with the supercar. It's definitely a different beast to drive compared with the ute, and yeah, just getting out there and having a lot of fun.
Scott Loadsman isn't new to the series, but his car certainly is, having just acquired this new toy. Scott, tell us the history behind it.
Yeah, this is Paul's ex-car, a VZ, which we purchased from up at Paul Morris's, and yeah, it's our first run in it.
Now, it was Paul Morris's spare car, so what was going through your mind when he rolled over in New Zealand?
That was a bit scary. We were out watching on television, saw him go around and thought, oh, there goes a new car, but everything worked out okay, and here we are racing today and going really well. It's great.
Scott, what's the difference between your old car and this new one?
I'd say the difference is this is a lot faster. Today we were 3 seconds faster than we were last year here, and it's a bit like a HQ against a brand new Commodore. It's nice and tidy, and everything works, and it's great to drive. It's fabulous.
Certainly sounds that way. Stick around. We'll check out the highlights of race 1 after the break. Highlights now of race 1, round 3 of the Fujitsu V8 Supercars from Winton. Andrew Thompson starting from the pole for the second time this year, Garth. He got a good solid start, as did Michael Caruso.
Great start from Michael Caruso off the third row of the grid, straight up to fourth. Tardy one from Jonathan Webb, sat there a little long, spun the wheels, ran wide at 2. And you see here the guys cutting across the infield there at the exit of 1, exit then running across the 2. You're actually allowed to do that as long as you don't make an advantage, and as you can see the guys joining really didn't take any advantage at all.
You do run the risk though of ripping the front spoiler off the car. A car in drama. Shane Bykoff came to grief at turn 3 in the Turbo Brisbane Falcon. He was able to at least get that car back away from the wet grass and the mud, which has really been a factor this weekend because it's been so wet all over the course of the weekend. Off track's not the place to be.
Yeah, very, very tight in the run in turn 3, and just a little bit of superficial damage. Doesn't look anything structural.
Chris Alejage there, the right front tyre rubbing on the guard. Then Daniel Elliott came to grief at turn 1. Somehow, he didn't involve anybody else.
Incredibly lucky he didn't pick up the inside of the HPM car there. Daniel just far too late on the brakes, and you see uses that commonly used shortcut through turn 1, and luckily no contact at all.
Tony D'Alberto, the championship leader coming into this third round, ran in second spot. Kane Scott, the Kiwi, in behind. Michael Caruso as well. Speaking of Kiwis, Gene Rollinson making his debut this weekend, but finding things tough on his first run.
Yeah, out of the New Zealand V8 touring cars and first run in a supercar, as we see contact between Jay Verdnick and Sam Walter. Just a little bit of an indiscretion over who owned which bit of real estate.
And Sam Walter was the one who came out of it second best. Caruso just locking a right front brake down there in turn 11. He was pedalling very, very hard to keep in touch with our leading 3, Thompson, D'Alberto and Kane Scott. Not quite the sort of pace, though, of those top 3.
Yeah, good fight back, though, from a disappointing qualifying, being in 4th place.
Then there was drama. Turn 11 became an instant car park, and Chris Alejage ended up going over on his side in the Pro Technica Commodore. Brett Hobson, Jonathan Webb, Jay Verdnick, pretty much half the field came to grief here.
Yeah, it looked like a parking lot down there, and just a gentle roll on the side there for Chris. He looks fine as the marshals check him over. But, yeah, oil on the circuit caused plenty of chaos.
The good news was that all drivers were A-OK, but as they ran to the checkered flag, nobody could catch Andrew Thompson, the Howard Racing driver, coming off turn 12 to lead them down to the checkered flag. A great fight back after a tough round at Wakefield Park. He took race 1 clear of Tony D'Alberto and Kane Scott. But bad news, Mark McNally finished 4th on the road, excluded from the results.
Yes, so the crew didn't weigh the car after the race, and that excluded him from the results.
Three years ago in the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series, Tony D'Alberto was a series rookie. Now he's the man that everybody's chasing. What's been the biggest change in 3 years?
I'd have to say probably the level of equipment using the Fujitsu series now. Everyone's got VZs and BA Falcons, so no one's raced here in the Fujitsu series with those cars, and it's going to be interesting to see how they go.
Jose, you've made the step from an AU Falcon to a BA Falcon, but that's not necessarily a ticket to a podium position.
The transition to a new Ford BA doesn't necessarily mean results. Everyone struggles to get up to speed with the new model car. We need development, you need testing, you need dollars.
Luke Yordan, 3 years ago you were fighting for the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series in an AU Falcon. This year you're still in an AU model car, and it's a real challenge just to get into the top 10.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, you know, the championship's come a long way in 3 years. There's a lot of level 1 cars, a lot of level 1 teams out there now. And for us in an AU, it's a real challenge for us. I mean, you know, I'm still driving just as hard as I was back then. But you know, obviously the technology's come a long way.
It certainly has. Race 2 coming up after the break.